the universe exist? Why is there a world? Okay, all right. This is a cosmic mystery. Be solemn. Why is there a world? Why are we in it? Why is there something rather than nothing at all? I mean, this is the super ultimate why question. So I'm going to talk about the mystery of existence, the puzzle of existence, where we are now in addressing it, and why you should care. And I hope you do care. The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer said that those who don't wonder about the contingency of their existence, of the contingency of the world's existence, are mentally deficient. All right, that's a little harsh, but still. So this has been called the most sublime and awesome mystery, the deepest and most far-reaching question man can pose. It's obsessed great thinkers. Ludwig Wittgenstein, perhaps the greatest philosopher of the 20th century, was astonished that there should be a world at all. He wrote in his Tractatus, Proposition 4.66, it is not how things are in the world that is the mystical, it's that the world exists. And if you don't like taking your epigrams from a philosopher, try a scientist. John Archibald Wheeler, one of the great physicists of the 20th century, the teacher of Richard Feynman, the coiner of the term black hole, he said, I want to know, how come the quantum? How come the universe? How come existence? And my friend Martin Amis, by the way, I'll be doing a lot of name dropping in this talk, so to get used to it. My dear friend Martin Amis once said that we're about 5 Einsteins away from answering the mystery of where the universe came from. And I no doubt there are 5 Einsteins in the audience tonight. Any Einsteins? Show of hands? No Einsteins? Okay. So this question, why is there something rather than nothing, this sublime question, was posed rather late in intellectual history. It was towards the end of the 17th century, the philosopher Leibniz, who asked it. Very smart guy, Leibniz, invented the calculus independently of Isaac Newton at about the same time. But for Leibniz, who asked, why is there something rather than nothing, this was not a great mystery. You know, he either was or pretended to be an Orthodox Christian in his metaphysical outlook. And he said, it's obvious why the world exists, because God created it. And God created indeed out of nothing at all. That's how powerful God is. He doesn't need any pre-existing materials to fashion a world out of. He can make it out of sheer nothingness, creation ex nihilo. And by the way, this is what most Americans today believe. There's no mystery of existence for them. God made it. Okay, so let's put this in an equation. I don't have any slides, so I'm going to mime my visuals, so use your imaginations. So it's God plus nothing equals the world, okay? Now, that's the equation. And so maybe you don't believe in God. Maybe you're a scientific atheist or an unscientific atheist, and you don't believe in God, and you're not happy with it. By the way, even if we have this equation, God plus nothing equals the world, there's already a problem. Why does God exist? You know, God doesn't exist by logic alone unless you believe the ontological argument, and I hope you don't, because it's not a good argument. So, you know, it's conceivable if God were to exist, he might wonder, you know, I'm eternal, I'm all-powerful, but where did I come from? Whence then am I? God speaks in a more formal English, and so one theory is that God was so bored with pondering the puzzle of his own existence that he created the world, you know, just to distract himself. But anyway, so let's first forget about God. So take God out of the equation, we have blank plus nothing equals the world. Now, if you're a Buddhist, you might want to stop right there, because essentially what you've got is nothing equals the world, and by symmetry of identity, that means the world equals nothing. Okay, and to a Buddhist, the world is just a whole lot of nothing. It's a big cosmic vacuity. And, we think there's a lot of something out there, but that's because we're enslaved by our desires. If we let our desires kind of melt away, we'll see the world for what it truly is, a vacuity, nothingness, and we'll slip into this happy state of nirvana, which has been defined as having just enough life to enjoy being dead. Okay, so that's it. That's the Buddhist thing. Okay, but I'm not. I'm a Westerner, and I'm still concerned with the puzzle of existence. So I've got, say, blank plus. This is going to get serious in a minute. So blank plus nothing equals the world. What are we going to put in that blank? Well, how about science? I mean, science is our best guide to the nature of reality. And the most fundamental science is physics. That tells us what naked reality really is. That reveals what I call tau photu, the true and ultimate furniture of the universe. So maybe physics can fill this blank. And indeed, since about the late 1960s, around 1970, physicists have purported to give a purely scientific explanation of how a universe like ours could have popped into existence out of sheer nothingness, a quantum fluctuation out of the void. Stephen Hawking is one of these physicists, more recently Alex Vilenkin. And the whole thing has been popularized by another very fine physicist and friend of mine, Lawrence Krauss, who wrote a book called A Universe from Nothing. And Lawrence thinks that he's a militant atheist, by the way, so he's gotten God out of the picture. The laws of quantum field theory, the state-of-the-art physics, can show how out of sheer nothingness, no space, no time, no matter, nothing, a little nugget of false vacuum can fluctuate into existence and then, by the miracle of inflation, blow up into this huge and variegated cosmos we see around us. Okay, this is a really, it's an ingenious scenario. It's very speculative. It's fascinating, but I've got a big problem with it. And the problem is this. It's a pseudo-religious point of view. Now, Lawrence thinks he's an atheist, but he's still enthralled to a religious worldview. He sees physical laws as being like divine commands. You know, the laws of quantum field theory for him are like fiat lux, let there be light. The laws have some sort of ontological power or clout that they can inform the abyss that it's pregnant with being. They can call a world into existence out of nothing. But that's a very primitive view of what a physical law is, right? We know that physical laws are actually generalized descriptions of patterns and regularities in the world. They don't exist outside the world. They don't have any ontic cloud of their own. They can't call a world into existence out of nothingness. That's a very primitive view of what a scientific law is. And if you don't believe me on this, you listen to Stephen Hawking, who himself put forward a model of the cosmos that was self-contained, didn't require any outside cause, any creator. And after proposing this, Hawking admitted that he was still puzzled. I mean, he said, this model is just equations. What breathes fire into the equations and creates a world for them to describe? He was puzzled by this. So equations themselves can't do the magic, can't resolve the puzzle of existence. And besides, even if the laws could do that, why this set of laws? Why quantum field theory that describes a universe with a certain number of forces and particles and so forth? Why not a completely different set of laws? There are many, many mathematically consistent sets of laws. Why not no laws at all? Why not sheer nothingness? So this is a problem, believe it or not, that reflective physicists really think a lot about. And at this point, they tend to go metaphysical. Say, well, maybe the set of laws that describe our universe, it's just one set of laws, and it describes one part of reality, but maybe every consistent set of laws describes another part of reality. And in fact, all possible physical worlds really exist. They're all out there. We just see a little tiny part of reality that's described by the laws of quantum field theory, but there are many, many other worlds, parts of reality that are described by vastly different theories that are different from ours in ways we can't imagine, that are, inconceivably exotic.